Danny, just wondered if you could go through the guards that you guys have in terms of you, Caruso, KCP, some of the new guys, Quinn Cook, and about how roles might shift, if at all, without both Avery and now Rajon Rondo for the time that he's going to be out.
Oh man, that's a coach's question. I don't really make the substitutions, but I can tell you who we have. Things may shift. Guys will get more minutes now since Avery and Rondo's out. We did pick up Jr. We did pick up Dion. I have myself, KCP, Alex Caruso, as you mentioned, Quinn Cook, Dion Waiters, J.R. Smith, Talon, who's been doing very well as a rookie, who's learned a lot. And we have a couple other wings, other guys, and maybe I'm drawing a blank here. But we have so many guys on our team now. It's like 16, 17 guys. It's hard to decipher who's wings and who's a big. So obviously Brian plays a wing, Kuz plays a wing. Even AD sometimes, he handles it a lot. But from my perspective, those are the main guys I think that'll be on the perimeter.
BT? Hey, Danny, how you doing, man?
Good, yourself?
The day you were not able to practice because of, malfunctioning testing, how concerned were you about that? Were you wondering about your results, or were you pretty sure about where you stood?
I was not wondering about my results. I've been negative before we left. Plenty of times negative when we left, negative when we got here. I think there was just an error, I think in me and Dwight's test, maybe because I don't think they got a good swab on maybe the nostrils. They don't do as deep of a nose swab. They did a quick one this time around, so now I have to make sure that I get a good nose swab when I go and throat swab so that there is no errors when it comes back for the results.
Hey Danny, it's Dave McManaman with ESPN. Is there any mental toll of having the Rondo news come out? I mean, literally the second practice you guys have, just like, oh man, that's not a good sign for what we're trying to do, or how do you process it?
For sure, it's never a good sign when some of your players get hurt, some of your guys, especially one of your leaders. He's definitely one of our floor generals on and off the court, which I think it's a blow, but not as big of a blow because of how much he helps us on the sideline and coaching wise. I know he'll still be there, he'll still help coach, help teach, but it would be great to have him on the floor, playmaking, making plays, being that floor general. And actually, when he's aggressive, making some good plays for us and helping our team. Because when he scores 10 plus points, you guys know the statistics and you know the record for us. So we need him, to come off the bench and give us a little spark. But I know he'll be on that sideline for us, coaching his ass off and teaching us and letting our young guys know. And also Brian and myself and AD what we see, what he sees, and what adjustments we need to make.
Danny, this is Kyle with the Register. How you doing, man?
How you doing?
We haven't been able to see Dion and JR for you guys. How are they looking to you in practice, and especially in light of losing Rajon? What do you think Dion might be able to offer coming in as a ball handler now and then?
I mean, obviously you guys know what Dion's capable of doing. He's another playmaker, another ball handler. He's been looking pretty good. Him and JR have been looking well. Obviously, we have a lot of time left to get our bodies in shape, to get them to learn the system. That's JR right there, as you can hear. He's been shooting the ball very well. They've been playing well. Guys looking good. Nobody looks out of shape crazy. They've been doing very well. They've been working and learning the system pretty quickly. So I think those guys give us two aspects. JR gives us a floor spacer, and Dion gives us another ball handler, playmaker.
Hey Danny, Melissa Rowland here. Did you see exactly what happened to Rondo? Did you see the injury?
No, Rondo's hands, man, it's so big, he gets a lot of hands caught in places, or he reaches, gets his hands stuck in jerseys on the ball a lot when he plays defense. And offensively, he just attacks the play some. This is JaVale. Welcome, JaVale. And then, offensively, I remember one play where he did attack. He did get by the defense. He did the seam, and he's about to do one of his Rondo passes. I think somebody got a piece of it or put a hand on the ball. That might have been the play. I don't know. But he's had a couple of hand injuries over the last 2 years that have been devastating for himself and for us. So we don't know how it's happened. And I think it's a thing that it has to continue to get strengthened. But we know he'll be back in 4 to 6, maybe 6 to 8 weeks. Hopefully sooner than that. And he'll be back better than ever because he was in great shape before he got injured.
Hey Danny, Alan Sleo with ESPN. Just curious, how long does it typically take for you to get your timing back, I mean, do you look at this time between now and the regular season, restarting, and then that time between those 8 games back into the postseason? Is that plenty of time for someone like yourself to get the timing, endurance, all that back?
I think so. I think for most guys that don't get out of shape, it only takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get back in game shape of playing. So they give us 2 or 3 weeks of practice and scrimmages here, and then a couple weeks, 2 weeks after that of playing games. So I think we should be ready more than enough for playoffs during that time.
I was going to take 2 more questions.
Hey Danny, Harrison Fagan, Silver Screen and Roll. I was just curious if you could explain to us a little bit. I know you did a Twitter poll on for the message on the back of your jersey, but I just was wondering if you could explain what that message means to you and why it was important to you.
Obviously, all those messages mean a lot to me, and they all speak out about what's going on in the world today. That's important. Obviously, basketball, sports, and our everyday lives is important, but the bigger picture for us is getting the justices that are deserved for those in our community around the world. How many more? Obviously, our fans picked it, but obviously, it was one of the ones that I chose because it speaks of how many more. How many more people of our color are going to get, killed or die in the hands of the force of police brutality? How many more families are going to get denied housing? How many more black men and women are going to get denied certain job opportunities? The list goes on. But how many more stands for just more than one thing, and it lets the world know, it keeps the world on notice that we're not any way, shape, or form distracted of what the bigger picture is here. Obviously, we want to play and win. But at the same time, we want to continue to try to push for our people.
Last question, Dan.
Hey Danny, it's Dan Wicke. The NBA just announced that 2 players tested positive for coronavirus during quarantine. Out of everybody, 19 other players still haven't made it to the bubble. I'm curious, now that you've experienced this for a little time, how do you feel about the safety of everything?
For us?
Yeah, for you guys.
Honestly, I think a good majority of us, if they haven't caught it already, has had it at one point. I think a lot of us have survived it. I think have the antibodies and can fight it. I think we have pretty good health to where we can get through it. So I'm not that concerned or worried about us. I think the concern is about people around us, our friends and families, our kids. Obviously, the people on our staff that are older or have health issues. So for us, I'm not as concerned. I haven't seen anybody take a real big hit from our league in terms of having to be in the hospital or having to be worried about their life. But you never know. Every case is different. I'm not a science person. I'm not a health person. I just learn as I go and see what I see and read the statistics, and just like you guys, seeing what's happening daily in each city.